Welcome to the CTSC course, proudly brought to you by Simple Understanding YouTube channel. Today's video covers the APICS Certified in Transformation for Supply Chain program, where we'll take you through a full comprehensive course to help you excel. Let's start with a brief introduction to the certificate structure so you can get a clear understanding of what's ahead. In recent years, supply chains have been tested like never before, facing major disruptions across the board. In response, today's supply chain professionals must rise to the challenge, not just as managers, but as transformational leaders. To navigate this evolving landscape, they need a solid grasp of systems thinking, digital know-how, and strong analytical skills that apply to every kind of supply chain. Is the CTSC program right for you? The CTSC program is designed for supply chain professionals who are actively involved in or preparing to take part in a supply chain transformation within their organization. Whether you're supporting, leading, or initiating change, or simply looking to build the skills needed to contribute effectively to transformation efforts, this program equips you to make a meaningful impact. What will you learn? Module 1, Supply Chain Transformation Overview. Module 2, Preparing for Supply Chain Transformation. Module 3, Executing Supply Chain Transformation. Module 4, Review of Supply Chain Transformation. What is the exam structure? To earn your CTSC designation, you must pass one exam covering 4 modules of content. The exam consists of 150 questions, and you have 3.5 hours to finish. The exam score range is 200 to 350, with scores 300 and above are considered passing. Let's take a closer look at what each module covers. Our course includes step-by-step video instruction. Each module is broken down into clear, actionable sections, so be sure to follow our CTSC playlist. To help make your study smoother, I've prepared some valuable resources that you can download from the description below. A comprehensive study ebook covering all 4 modules and its 15 sections. This guide breaks down complex supply chain concepts, multiple choice questions with detailed answers. These will help you get familiar with the exam format and difficulty level. A glossary of key terms, organized by module to help you easily track your progress and follow along with the material. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. And as always, stay tuned for upcoming videos and resources. Let's begin with Module 1, Section A, Supply Chain Transformations. Overview. Supply chain transformation is the deliberate redesign of supply chain structures and processes to meet evolving market demands. In today's globalized, technology-driven world, companies cannot survive using outdated supply chain models. Rapid changes in customer expectations, technological innovation, sustainability demands, and competitive pressures drive the need for transformation. Businesses must adapt supply chain strategies to remain efficient, resilient, and responsive. Students studying this section will understand the foundations of transformation initiatives. They will learn the main drivers forcing supply chains to evolve. They will explore how companies plan, implement, and manage major changes across supply chains. They will recognize the barriers that slow transformation and the tactics companies use to overcome them. This section prepares students to think practically about why transformation is needed, how it happens, and what successful transformation looks like. It sets the stage for understanding more advanced supply chain trends discussed later in the CTSC course. Key topics. 1. What is supply chain transformation? Main explanation. Supply chain transformation means re-engineering supply chain processes to meet new business objectives. It involves strategic, operational, and technological changes. The goal is better customer service, lower costs, faster delivery, and higher agility. Transformation is proactive, not reactive. It requires leadership commitment and strong project management. Real company example. Nike overhauled its supply chain starting in 2017. It invested heavily in automation, data analytics, and direct-to-consumer strategies. As a result, its supply chain became 30% faster by 2020, improving margins and customer satisfaction. More expansion. Most companies approach transformation in phases. They start with diagnostics, then set a roadmap. Common challenges include internal resistance and underestimating technology complexity. Clear communication and leadership sponsorship are critical for success. 2. Drivers of supply chain transformation. Main explanation. The key drivers are customer expectations, digital technologies, globalization, sustainability demands, and competitive pressures. Companies transform to remain relevant. Without change, market share and profitability decline. Transformation is no longer optional. It is essential. Real company example. Walmart started investing heavily in omni-channel logistics in 2016. It responded to Amazon's disruption. Walmart's online sales jumped by 79% in 2020 due to these efforts. More expansion. Companies should regularly scan their environment to identify transformation triggers early. Waiting until disruption occurs limits options and increases transformation costs. Early movers have a competitive advantage. 3. Transformation versus continuous improvement. Main explanation. Continuous improvement is incremental. Transformation is radical. Continuous improvement refines existing processes. Transformation replaces them with new models. Transformation demands larger investment, longer timelines, and broader organizational change. Real company example. Ford implemented lean manufacturing in the 1980s for continuous improvement. In contrast, Ford's pivot to electric vehicles by 2025 is a full transformation initiative. More expansion. Leaders must distinguish when continuous improvement is enough and when transformation is necessary. Misjudging this can cause companies to fall behind competitors rapidly. 4. Supply chain transformation objectives. Main explanation. Transformation seeks to increase flexibility, visibility, speed, and efficiency. It aligns supply chain operations with strategic business goals. It builds the foundation for innovation and sustainability initiatives. Real company example. Unilever's Connected for Growth program, launched in 2016, simplified supply chains and boosted responsiveness. By 2019, Unilever reported €2 billion in cost savings. More expansion. Setting clear, measurable objectives at the start of transformation increases the likelihood of success. Objectives should tie directly to customer value creation. 5. The role of technology in transformation. Main explanation. Technology enables real-time data, automation, predictive analytics, and end-to-end visibility. Cloud platforms, AI, blockchain, and IoT are key technologies supporting transformation. Technology is a tool, not the goal. Real company example. Maersk partnered with IBM to develop TradeLens, a blockchain platform. It increased transparency and reduced shipping documentation costs by 20% across pilot programs in 2019. More expansion. Companies must prioritize technology adoption based on ROI and business need. Blindly adopting technology without strategic alignment wastes resources and delays transformation outcomes. 6. Importance of customer-centric supply chains. Main explanation. Modern supply chains must be built around customer needs, not internal efficiencies alone. Customers demand faster deliveries, personalization, transparency, and sustainability. Meeting these demands is non-negotiable. Real company example. Zara's supply chain is designed for rapid design-to-shelf cycles. It refreshes collections every 2 weeks based on real-time customer feedback, helping it outperform slower fashion retailers. More expansion. Customer centricity requires deep demand sensing and flexible fulfillment strategies. Supply chains must integrate marketing, sales, and customer service insights into planning. 7. Agile versus lean supply chains. Main explanation. Agile supply chains focus on speed and flexibility. Lean supply chains focus on cost efficiency and waste reduction. Transformation often involves balancing both depending on market volatility and product types. Real company example. Dell used lean principles for build-to-order efficiency in the 1990s, but shifted to agile approaches during component shortages and demand spikes in the 2000s. More expansion. A hybrid lean strategy is common. Companies segment products. Lean for stable demand, agile for volatile demand. Misapplication of either approach leads to inefficiencies. 8. End-to-end visibility. Main explanation. End-to-end visibility means having real-time access to supply chain information from suppliers to customers. It improves responsiveness, risk management, and decision-making. Real company example. Procter & Gamble deployed control towers across its global supply chain starting in 2018, achieving real-time monitoring and 10% faster decision-making and disruptions. More expansion. Technology platforms like ERP systems, transportation management systems, TMS, and control towers enable visibility. Companies must integrate fragmented data sources to achieve true visibility. 9. Sustainable supply chain transformation. Main explanation. Sustainability is now a major driver of supply chain change. Regulations, investor pressure, and customer expectations force companies to redesign supply chains for lower carbon footprints and ethical sourcing. Real company example. IKEA pledged in 2020 to achieve zero-emissions home deliveries by 2025 in major cities, restructuring logistics partnerships, and investing in electric vehicle fleets. More expansion. Embedding sustainability requires supplier engagement, life cycle analysis, and alternative material sourcing. Companies must view sustainability as a value creator, not a cost burden. 10. Risk management and transformation. Main explanation. Transformation introduces new risks, including operational disruption, cost overruns, and employee resistance. Effective risk management identifies, assesses, and mitigates these risks early. Real company example. Intel used scenario planning during its 2017 supply chain digitalization to anticipate technology adoption challenges and minimize disruptions. More expansion. Risk management must be embedded into transformation governance. Regular audits, contingency plans, and phased rollouts reduce exposure. 11. Change management in supply chain transformation. Main explanation. People resist change. Successful transformation depends on structured change management. Leaders must communicate vision, train teams, and align incentives with new ways of working. Real company example. Caterpillar launched a multi-year employee engagement program to support its supply chain restructuring in 2012, reducing resistance and speeding adoption. More expansion. Without strong change management, even technically sound transformations fail. Early involvement of employees and transparent communication are critical. 12. Transformation roadmaps. Main explanation. Roadmaps provide a structured plan for transformation. They outline phases, milestones, resource needs, and expected outcomes. A roadmap guides execution and prevents scope drift. Real company example. Siemens created a detailed Digital Supply Chain Roadmap in 2015, which helped it systematically implement Industry 4.0 technologies across manufacturing sites. More expansion. Roadmaps must remain flexible. Unforeseen challenges require course corrections. However, overall vision and objectives must stay stable to maintain momentum. 13. Measuring success and transformation. Main explanation. Companies must define KPIs before starting transformation. Common KPIs include delivery lead time, cost to serve, inventory turnover, and customer satisfaction. Measurement drives accountability. Real company example. PepsiCo linked transformation success to specific KPIs like warehouse productivity and inventory accuracy during its 2018 logistics transformation, achieving double-digit improvements. More expansion. KPIs should align with strategic goals. Regular tracking ensures early detection of deviations and supports agile decision-making. 14. Leadership's role in transformation. Main explanation. Top management must champion transformation. Leadership sets the vision, secures funding, removes barriers, and sustains momentum through challenges. Passive leadership guarantees failure. Real company example. Apple's leadership under Tim Cook redefined its supply chain from 2011 onwards, making it one of the fastest and most cost-effective globally. More expansion. Leadership commitment must be visible and consistent. Regular updates, involvement in steering committees, and personal advocacy matter. 15. Lessons learned from failed transformations. Main explanation. Failure cases highlight common pitfalls. Lack of vision, underinvestment, poor change management, and ignoring frontline input. Learning from failures avoids repeating them. Real company example. Target's failure in Canada, 2015, was partly due to a rushed supply chain rollout and untested systems, leading to stockouts and store closures. More expansion. Companies should conduct post-mortems after transformation projects. Documenting lessons creates institutional knowledge and strengthens future initiatives. Section Summary. This section taught the foundations of supply chain transformation. Students learned what drives transformation and why it matters today. They explored technology's role, customer demands, visibility needs, and the critical balance between agile and lean approaches. They understood the necessity of sustainability, risk management, and change management. They saw how leadership and clear roadmaps drive success. They also analyzed real-world examples, both successes and failures, to gain practical insight. Mastering these ideas is essential for applying supply chain principles in today's fast-evolving business environment. It is also critical for success in the CTSC certification exam. Supply chain transformation is not a trend. It is the new operational reality shaping the future of global commerce. Let's take a small quiz for CTSC Module 1, Section A. Supply chain transformations, formatted clearly for learning and revision. Question 1. What differentiates supply chain transformation from continuous improvement? A. Transformation involves minor adjustments. Continuous improvement is radical. B. Transformation is proactive. Continuous improvement is reactive. C. Continuous improvement involves incremental changes. Transformation is radical. D. Transformation focuses only on cost efficiency. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Continuous improvement makes small, incremental enhancements. Transformation is significant, fundamentally changing processes and strategies. Question 2. Which of these primarily drives supply chain transformations today? A. Internal policies. B. Customer expectations. C. Existing supplier relationships. D. Historical data trends. Correct answer, B. Explanation: customer expectations, alongside digital technologies, globalization, sustainability, and competitive pressures, primarily drive transformation. Question 3. Nike's supply chain transformation led to which measurable outcome by 2020? A. Increased costs. B. Reduced product variety. C. 30% faster supply chain. D. Decreased direct sales. Correct answer, C. Explanation: Nike improved its supply chain speed by 30%, enhancing efficiency and customer satisfaction significantly. Question 4. The primary objective of supply chain transformation is to A. Reduce overall staff. B. Enhance visibility, speed, and flexibility. C. Increase inventory levels. D. Limit technology investments. Correct answer, B. Explanation: transformations aim to increase supply chain agility, responsiveness, and alignment with strategic business objectives. Question 5. What major challenge do companies typically underestimate during supply chain transformation? A. Cost of incremental improvements. B. Complexity of technology implementation. C. Customer acquisition costs. D. Short-term profitability. Correct answer, B. Explanation: many companies underestimate technological complexities, leading to delays and higher costs. Question 6. Which supply chain approach prioritizes rapid responsiveness to changing customer demands? A. Lean supply chains. B. Agile supply chains. C. Incremental improvement. D. Inventory-heavy approaches. Correct answer, B. Explanation: agile supply chains emphasize speed, flexibility, and quick adjustments to changing customer demands and market conditions. Question 7. End-to-end visibility in supply chain transformation primarily helps companies to A. Reduce automation. B. Lower employee engagement. C. Enhance risk management and responsiveness. D. Eliminate customer feedback loops. Correct answer, C. Explanation: end-to-end visibility provides real-time data from suppliers to customers, improving decision-making, risk management, and responsiveness. Question 8. A successful transformation roadmap typically includes A. Strict adherence without adjustments. B. Detailed phases and milestones. C. Minimal leadership involvement. D. Rapid changes in strategic goals. Correct answer, B. Explanation: effective roadmaps clearly define phases, milestones, resources, and objectives, but allow flexibility for unforeseen adjustments. Question 9. Which statement best describes the role of leadership in supply chain transformation? A. Leadership involvement should be minimal to empower lower management. B. Leadership should delegate all responsibilities to project managers. C. Active and consistent leadership support is essential. D. Leadership's role is limited to initial project approval. Correct answer, C. Explanation: strong, active leadership is crucial throughout the transformation process to overcome barriers and maintain momentum. Question 10. What critical lesson can be learned from failed supply chain transformations? A. Fast execution guarantees success. B. Ignoring frontline input can lead to project failure. C. Technology solves all transformation issues. D. Transformation should always be managed internally. Correct answer, B. Explanation: failures often occur when frontline insights and practical considerations are ignored, emphasizing the importance of comprehensive stakeholder involvement. Let's start with Module 1, Section B, Value Proposition, Methodologies, and Organizational Design. Overview. This section explains how companies create and deliver value through their supply chains. It covers the meaning of a value proposition and why it must align with supply chain design. Students will explore key methodologies companies use to improve supply chains, like Lean, Six Sigma, and Agile practices. This section also introduces how companies organize their supply chain structures to support transformation goals. Today, supply chains must deliver not only products but experiences, speed, customization, and sustainability. Traditional organizational designs are too rigid for modern needs. Students will learn the connection between supply chain value creation, improvement frameworks, and agile organizational structures. They will build the ability to assess whether a supply chain is structured correctly to deliver its promises to customers. Mastery of this section builds the foundation for designing, improving, and transforming supply chains to meet competitive and customer-driven demands. 15 key topics. 1. Understanding the value proposition. Main explanation. A value proposition defines the unique benefit a company promises to deliver to customers. It must clearly state why customers should choose its products or services over competitors. A strong value proposition is the foundation of supply chain strategy. It shapes priorities for speed, cost, quality, and flexibility. Real company example. Amazon's value proposition focuses on low prices, fast delivery, and wide selection. Its supply chain, with distributed warehouses and rapid fulfillment, directly supports this promise. More expansion. Companies must continuously validate that their supply chain capabilities match their value proposition. Misalignment leads to customer dissatisfaction and competitive decline. 2. Aligning supply chain strategy with value proposition. Main explanation. A company's supply chain must be intentionally designed to deliver its value proposition. If the promise is speed, the supply chain must prioritize fast fulfillment. If the promise is quality, the supply chain must prioritize precision and inspection. Real company example. Bose emphasizes superior sound quality. Its supply chain investments focus on supplier quality assurance and precision manufacturing, not just low cost. More expansion. Misalignment wastes resources. Companies should regularly review value propositions and adjust their supply chain network, inventory strategies, and service levels accordingly. 3. Methodologies for supply chain improvement. Main explanation. Companies use structured methodologies to improve supply chain performance. Common frameworks include Lean, Six Sigma, Agile practices, and a theory of constraints. Each focuses on different aspects like waste reduction, quality improvement, or flexibility. Real company example. Toyota pioneered lean manufacturing in the 1950s, reducing waste and inventory levels. It remains a global benchmark for efficiency today. More expansion. Companies often blend methodologies depending on their goals. The key is disciplined application, leadership buy-in, and employee training. 4. Lean principles in supply chain. Main explanation. Lean focuses on maximizing customer value while minimizing waste. Lean supply chains eliminate non-value-added activities, reduce inventory, and streamline processes. Real company example. Intel applied Lean principles to its global supply chain starting in 2008, achieving 25% faster time to market for new products by 2012. More expansion. Implementing Lean requires cultural change. Companies must empower employees to identify waste and reward continuous improvement efforts. 5. Six Sigma in supply chain management. Main explanation. Six Sigma focuses on reducing defects and process variation. In supply chain operations, it improves quality, consistency, and customer satisfaction. Real company example. Motorola, the original Six Sigma pioneer, used it in its supply chain to reduce production defects by 80% in the late 1980s. More expansion. Six Sigma projects require structured problem-solving approaches like DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Training certified green belts and black belts is critical. 6. Agile supply chain methodology. Main explanation. Agile supply chains prioritize responsiveness and flexibility. They quickly adapt to changing market demands, supply disruptions, and product innovations. Real company example. Cisco implemented agile supply chain practices after the 2001 tech bubble collapse, enabling faster product customization and quicker demand response. More expansion. Agile supply chains rely on cross-functional teams, real-time data, and decentralized decision-making. They are critical in volatile industries like fashion, electronics, and food. 7. Theory of constraints in supply chain. Main explanation. The theory of constraints identifies the most limiting factor in a supply chain and focuses improvement efforts there. Fixing the constraint improves the entire system's performance. Real company example. Amazon applies constraint management at fulfillment centers, adjusting workflows to manage bottlenecks during seasonal spikes like Black Friday. More expansion. Supply chains must identify physical, policy, or market constraints. Regular reassessment ensures continuous flow improvement. 8. Organizational design principles for supply chain transformation. Main explanation. Organizational design defines how roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships are structured. A flexible, responsive design is critical for successful supply chain transformation. Real company example. Procter & Gamble shifted to a category-based supply chain organization in 2012, increasing customer focus and operational speed. More expansion. Traditional hierarchical structures are often too slow. Companies moving toward networked, team-based structures perform better under transformation pressures. 9. Centralized versus decentralized supply chain structures. Main explanation. Centralized structures consolidate decision-making and processes. Decentralized structures distribute authority closer to customers or production sites. Each has trade-offs in speed, consistency, and local responsiveness. Real company example. Coca-Cola operates decentralized bottling operations globally, allowing local responsiveness to customer tastes and supply conditions. More expansion. Companies often mix models, centralized for procurement and IT, decentralized for sales and service. Balance depends on cost, speed, and customer intimacy needs. 10. Cross-functional supply chain teams. Main explanation. Transformation demands collaboration across traditional silos like procurement, production, logistics, and sales. Cross-functional teams align objectives and improve execution speed. Real company example. Pfizer's vaccine development supply chain in 2020 used cross-functional teams from R&D, manufacturing, and logistics to accelerate COVID-19 vaccine distribution. More expansion. Teams need clear goals, accountability, and executive sponsorship. Without these, cross-functional efforts often stall in conflicts. 11. Role of culture in supply chain transformation. Main explanation. Culture determines how people react to change, innovation, and risk. A culture that embraces learning, collaboration, and agility enables faster and more effective transformation. Real company example. 3M's culture of innovation supports supply chain experiments, including advanced additive manufacturing, 3D printing for faster prototyping. More expansion. Cultural change is slow. Leaders must model desired behaviors, reward experimentation, and actively dismantle legacy mindsets. 12. Digital-ready supply chain organizations. Main explanation. Modern supply chains need digital capabilities, data analytics, automation, AI, and real-time monitoring. Organizational structures must support these capabilities with new roles and competencies. Real company example. Schneider Electric restructured its supply chain organization in 2017 to emphasize digital roles like data scientists and IoT specialists. More expansion. Reskilling and upskilling programs are essential. Digital transformation fails without skilled people to run and improve digital processes. 13. Managing supply chain transformation programs. Main explanation. Program management disciplines transformation projects. It coordinates timelines, budgets, risks, and resources across multiple initiatives. It ensures alignment with strategic goals. Real company example. Bayer launched a global supply chain transformation program in 2018 using structured program management frameworks, improving efficiency and service levels. More expansion. Effective program management requires strong governance, transparent reporting, and early problem escalation systems. 14. Supply Chain Centers of Excellence, COEs. Main explanation. COEs provide expertise, best practices, and strategic guidance across the supply chain. They drive innovation, capability building, and performance improvement. Real company example. Nestlé established supply chain COEs focusing on procurement excellence, logistics optimization, and demand planning across regional hubs. More expansion. COEs must be integrated into operational decision-making, not isolated academic groups. Their success depends on active support from business units. 15. Designing supply chains for future readiness. Main explanation. Future-ready supply chains are flexible, resilient, customer-centric, and digitally enabled. Organizational design must enable continuous learning, rapid innovation, and seamless collaboration. Real company example. Unilever's supply chain 2030 vision focuses on AI, automation, and regenerative agriculture practices, embedding future readiness into its structure today. More expansion. Future readiness requires constant review of market trends, technologies, and organizational capabilities. Static designs become obsolete fast. Section summary. This section taught the critical connection between value proposition, supply chain strategy, improvement methodologies, and organizational design. Students learned how supply chains must be engineered to deliver customer promises. They explored Lean, Six Sigma, Agile, and other frameworks for operational excellence. They understood the impact of organizational structures on transformation success. Mastering these concepts enables future supply chain leaders to design operations that are customer-focused, efficient, and adaptive. These ideas form the operational backbone for long-term competitiveness and resilience. Grasping these topics is crucial for passing the CTSC exam and for shaping supply chains that can survive and thrive in the next decade. Let's take a small quiz for CTSC Module 1, Section B. Value proposition, methodologies, and organizational design, structured clearly and professionally for optimal learning. Question 1. What defines a company's value proposition in the context of supply chains? A. Internal company policies. B. Supplier contracts. C. Unique benefit delivered to customers. D. Historical performance records. Correct answer. C. Explanation. A value proposition is a clear statement about the unique benefit a company promises its customers, guiding supply chain priorities such as speed, quality, and cost. Question 2. If a company's value proposition emphasizes speed, its supply chain should primarily focus on A. Maximizing inventory. B. Lowest cost suppliers. C. Fast order fulfillment. D. Extensive product inspection. Correct answer, C. Explanation. The supply chain must align its strategy and resources to prioritize fast fulfillment, reflecting the company's promised value of speed. Question 3. Lean methodology in supply chains primarily targets A. Flexibility in product design. B. Maximizing inventory levels. C. Rapid technological innovation. D. Minimizing waste and streamlining processes. Correct answer, D. Explanation. Lean principles focus on removing wasteful activities, reducing inventory, and improving overall supply chain efficiency. Question 4. Which of these methodologies focuses on reducing variability and defects within supply chain processes? A. Lean. B. Six Sigma. C. Agile. D. Theory of constraints. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Six Sigma specifically targets process improvement by reducing variation and defects, improving overall quality and customer satisfaction. Question 5. Which supply chain structure consolidates decision-making authority at a single central point? A. Agile. B. Decentralized. C. Centralized. D. Hybrid. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Centralized structures consolidate decision-making to standardize processes and maintain consistency throughout the organization. Question 6. The main advantage of a decentralized supply chain structure is A. Increased control over suppliers. B. Reduced need for local responsiveness. C. Greater local responsiveness. D. Easier global standardization. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Decentralization enables quicker, localized decisions, making it ideal for adapting to local customer demands and market conditions. Question 7. Cross-functional supply chain teams are primarily beneficial because they A. Facilitate collaboration across departments. B. Eliminate performance measurement. C. Reduce the need for executive oversight. D. Increase departmental silos. Correct answer, A. Explanation. Cross-functional teams break down silos, enhance communication, and align diverse departmental goals for quicker execution and problem-solving. Question 8. A supply chain center of excellence, COE, typically provides A. Direct oversight of all operational tasks. B. Centralized control of supplier contracts. C. Best practices, strategic guidance, and expertise. D. Immediate customer support. Correct answer, C. Explanation. COE specialize in disseminating knowledge, driving innovation, and guiding strategic improvements across the supply chain organization. Question 9. Digital-ready supply chain organizations primarily require A. Reduced dependence on data. B. Increased physical inventory. C. Skills in data analytics and automation. D. A purely hierarchical organizational design. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Digital transformation demands specialized skills such as data analytics, automation, IoT, and real-time monitoring capabilities. Question 10. What organizational characteristic is critical for future-ready supply chains? A. Stability in current processes. B. Fixed organizational structures. C. Flexibility and continuous learning. D. Exclusive reliance on historical data. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Future-ready supply chains must be flexible, adaptable, and committed to continuous learning to remain responsive to emerging trends and disruptions. Let's take a quick break. Now's the perfect time to show some love. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this video. Your support keeps us fired up and ready to keep bringing you more awesome content. Let's start with Module 1, Section C, Drivers of Supply Chain. Overview. This section explains the forces that push companies to transform their supply chains. Transformation is not random. It responds to powerful external and internal pressures. Students will study how customer expectations, technological innovation, globalization, environmental concerns, and competitive pressures act as catalysts. They will learn that companies must detect these drivers early to survive and grow. Supply chains must become faster, more resilient, more sustainable, and more digitally enabled. Without transformation, businesses risk losing market relevance. This section builds the student's ability to identify and interpret drivers of change. It sharpens strategic thinking about when and why supply chains need re-engineering. Understanding these drivers is critical for real-world decision-making and for passing the CTSC certification. 15 key topics. 1. Evolving customer expectations. Main explanation. Customers expect faster delivery, more choices, real-time tracking, and personalized experiences. Supply chains must adapt, or customers will switch brands. Speed, transparency, and flexibility are now basic requirements. Real company example. Amazon Prime, launched in 2005, reset customer expectations for 2-day delivery, forcing competitors like Walmart and Target to upgrade their supply chains. More expansion. Companies must use voice-of-customer programs and market research to detect shifting expectations early. Ignoring customer signals leads to rapid market loss. 2. Technological disruption. Main explanation. Technologies like AI, IoT, blockchain, and robotics disrupt traditional supply chains. They enable new business models, such as direct-to-consumer fulfillment and predictive maintenance. Real company example. DHL adopted robotics and AI for warehouse operations starting in 2017, reducing picking time by 25% and improving inventory accuracy. More expansion. Companies must build technology roadmaps and invest in experimentation. Failure to adopt key technologies creates operational and cost disadvantages. 3. Globalization and market expansion. Main explanation. Globalization increases supply chain complexity. Companies must manage longer supply chains, multiple regulations, currency risks, and cross-cultural differences. Real company example. Apple's global supply chain relies on suppliers from over 40 countries. It continuously redesigns its sourcing and logistics strategies to manage risks and costs. More expansion. Global operations demand advanced supplier management, resilient logistics networks, and real-time geopolitical monitoring. 4. Environmental and sustainability pressures. Main explanation. Governments, investors, and consumers demand environmentally responsible operations. Supply chains must reduce carbon emissions, waste, and unethical practices. Real company example. Patagonia's supply chain is designed for environmental stewardship, including sourcing organic cotton and promoting circular economy models since the early 2000s. More expansion. Sustainability must move from marketing slogans to embedded operational principles. Transparency, certifications, and supplier audits are essential. 5. Competitive pressures. Main explanation. Competitors constantly innovate on speed, cost, customer experience, and sustainability. Companies must transform to avoid being outperformed and displaced. Real company example. Tesla's vertically integrated supply chain for EVs forced traditional automakers like Ford and GM to accelerate their supply chain digitalization. More expansion. Benchmarking competitors' innovations and maintaining a fast decision-making cycle are critical defensive strategies. 6. Supply chain risk exposure. Main explanation. Natural disasters, pandemics, cyber attacks, and geopolitical tensions expose supply chain vulnerabilities. Companies must build resilience into design and operations. Real company example. COVID-19 revealed weaknesses in many supply chains. Johnson & Johnson rapidly localized production to ensure medical supplies reach key markets. More expansion. Scenario planning, dual sourcing, inventory buffers, and local production strategies reduce risk exposure. 7. Regulatory changes. Main explanation. Governments impose new regulations on trade, labor, sustainability, and data privacy. Compliance drives supply chain redesigns. Real company example. The European Union's GDPR 2018 forced supply chains to change how they collect and manage customer data. More expansion. Companies must monitor regulatory environments and proactively adapt to avoid penalties, supply disruptions, and reputational damage. 8. Financial pressures and cost optimization. Main explanation. Economic downturns, inflation, and shareholder demands push companies to reduce costs while maintaining service levels. Supply chain redesign becomes a key lever. Real company example. P&G's Productivity and Cost Savings Program, launched in 2012, saved over $10 billion by 2021 through supply chain simplification and automation. More expansion. Continuous cost, benchmarking, and end-to-end value chain analysis help companies identify cost-saving transformation opportunities. 9. Labor market challenges. Main explanation. Labor shortages, skills gaps, and rising wages force companies to automate, reskill, or redesign their supply chains. Real company example. Walmart deployed autonomous floor-scrubbing robots and shelf-scanning robots across stores starting in 2019 to offset labor shortages. More expansion. Strategic workforce planning and investments in automation technology become critical for long-term competitiveness. 10. Digital business models. Main explanation. E-commerce, platform business models, and subscription services create new fulfillment and logistics challenges. Supply chains must transform to serve digital channels. Real company example. Nike's investment in its SNKRS app and direct-to-consumer digital logistics accelerated after 2017, leading to 35% digital sales growth in 2020. More expansion. Companies must integrate digital channel logistics with traditional models. Fragmented operations increase costs and reduce customer satisfaction. 11. Demographic shifts. Main explanation. Population aging, urbanization, and the rise of Gen Z consumers change product demands and delivery expectations. Supply chains must adapt to these demographic realities. Real company example. Nestle restructured product offerings and supply chain operations to serve urban markets and aging populations in Asia-Pacific after 2015. More expansion. Understanding demographic trends helps companies adjust inventory locations, transportation modes, and product configurations. 12. Supply chain transparency demands. Main explanation. Consumers and regulators demand supply chain transparency regarding sourcing, labor practices, and environmental impacts. Real company example. Unilever's 2020 initiative made its entire palm oil supply chain fully traceable to plantations, addressing deforestation concerns. More expansion. Investments in blockchain, traceability platforms, and third-party audits are becoming standard practice. 13. Customization and personalization trends. Main explanation. Customers expect customized products and personalized services. Mass production models must evolve toward mass customization. Real company example. Adidas launched Speed Factories in 2016 to create customized sneakers faster and closer to customers, cutting delivery time. More expansion. Flexible manufacturing, modular product design, and localized fulfillment strategies support customization initiatives. 14. Shortening product life cycles. Main explanation. Products become obsolete faster due to rapid technology advancement and changing tastes. Supply chains must accelerate product development and replenishment cycles. Real company example. Samsung's rapid smartphone development cycles require supply chain teams to manage extremely tight design-to-launch schedules. More expansion. Concurrent engineering, supplier collaboration, and agile project management improve speed-to-market capabilities. 15. Environmental disruptions. Main explanation. Climate change causes floods, wildfires, droughts, and storms that disrupt global supply chains. Risk management and network redesign are necessary. Real company example. Honda redesigned its parts sourcing after the 2011 Thailand floods disrupted supply of key components, adding supplier redundancy. More expansion. Building geographic diversification, strengthening supplier resilience, and investing in predictive analytics improve environmental risk mitigation. Section summary. This section identified the key forces driving supply chain transformation. Students learned how evolving customer expectations, technology, globalization, sustainability, regulation, and competition create pressure for change. They studied how labor, digital business models, demographic trends, transparency demands, and environmental risks reshape supply chain strategies. Recognizing these drivers early enables companies to transform proactively rather than reactively. Mastering these concepts builds strategic thinking necessary for CTSC exam success and real-world supply chain leadership. Transformation readiness starts with understanding why transformation is unavoidable. Let's take a small quiz for CTSC. Module 1, Section C. Drivers of Supply Chain Transformation. Question 1. What primarily drives companies to transform supply chains in response to changing customer behavior? A. Labor cost increases. B. Government policies. C. Rising customer expectations for speed and personalization. D. Inventory cost fluctuations. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Customers now expect faster deliveries, real-time updates, and customized experiences. Ignoring these expectations leads to customer churn and loss of market share. Question 2. Which of the following is a key risk of not responding early to supply chain transformation drivers? A. Over-optimization. B. Brand expansion. C. Loss of market relevance. D. Excessive innovation. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Delaying transformation weakens competitiveness and risks market irrelevance as competitors adapt faster to changing drivers. Question 3. Which of the following technologies contributes directly to predictive maintenance and real-time data in supply chains? A. Internet of Things, IoT. B. Robotics. C. Augmented reality. D. Virtual reality. Correct answer. A. Explanation. IoT enables real-time monitoring and predictive maintenance, which are central to modern supply chain agility and efficiency. Question 4. How did DHL reduce warehouse picking time and improve inventory accuracy? A. Expanded manual labor force. B. Consolidated global vendors. C. Implemented AI and robotics. D. Decreased product variety. Correct answer. C. Explanation. DHL used AI and robotics starting in 2017 cutting warehouse picking time by 25% and boosting inventory accuracy. Question 5. Which of the following reflects a globalization-driven transformation need? A. Adding AI to HR functions. B. Shortening domestic distribution. C. Managing complex, multi-country logistics. D. Increasing siloed team structures. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Globalization introduces longer supply chains and diverse regulations, requiring strategic redesigns to manage complexity and risk. Question 6. Which regulatory change forced companies to redesign how they handle customer data? A. CPAT. B. GDPR. C. NAFTA. D. ISO 9001. Correct answer, B. Explanation. The EU's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, introduced new data privacy rules that force supply chain data handling redesigns. Question 7. Why did Tesla's vertically integrated supply chain pressure legacy automakers to transform? A. It reduced reliance on digital tools. B. It cut employee headcount. C. It improved cost and speed of production. D. It avoided labor unions. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Tesla's integration allowed faster, cost-efficient EV production, pushing competitors to adopt digital supply chain models to keep up. Question 8. Which event led Johnson & Johnson to localize production rapidly for medical supplies? A. Brexit. B. Cyberattack on SAP. C. COVID-19 pandemic. D. U.S. China tariff dispute. Correct answer, C. Explanation. During COVID-19, J&J responded to global disruption by localizing production to maintain supply in key markets. Question 9. What is a common response to labor shortages in modern supply chains? A. Increasing on-site management. B. Automating repetitive tasks. C. Reducing digital investments. D. Outsourcing customer support. Correct answer, B. Explanation. Labor shortages and rising wages drive companies to automate warehouse, fulfillment, and store operations. Question 10. What major supply chain trend is driven by the rise of Gen Z and urbanization? A. Centralized manufacturing. B. Increased product standardization. C. Shift toward faster, more flexible delivery models. D. Decline in online shopping. Correct answer, C. Explanation. Demographic shifts demand faster, urban-focused logistics and more personalized products to meet evolving expectations. Thanks so much for sticking with me until the end. I'm really glad to have you here. Don't forget to check the description below for links to all the study materials. You'll find everything you need to succeed. Also, be sure to watch the previous modules in the CTSC playlist and stay tuned for the next one. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps support the content and brings more valuable resources your way. Until next time, keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next module.